Am I back on? Okay, so what do we do? Into the chat? Okay. Sorry about that, folks. For those people who are here, we're looking to get the room back up again. Sorry about that. Technology is what it is, but I got someone crack like Joey, and he's getting on it to make sure it's right. So I apologize for that. I really do. But we're working on it. We're going to make it right. We're going to make it right. All right. And as I'm watching more people come up in the room, so they're getting the new link. It's all right. So would you post a chat when it's back up, please? The video keeps advancing to a recorded event. And Joey is putting a link in the room for those people who are here. He'll get it there. Will my chat box change too? Or will my chat box still be good to go? I got a new one? Okay.
But there's two.
Okay. Sorry about this, folks. We're still working on it, and I'm getting more people pop up in the room, so I'm waiting on some people to come back so we can get started again. So, again, apologize. It's all on me. I'll take it. It's, but we're going to get it right. We're going to get it right. And probably a lot of people will watch the recording of this nonetheless as well. So, you can't post a link here?
No, I tried it.
All right. But people are finding their ways here, though, right? All right. I've managed to get back in, says David. All right, so now here we go. The people who are here, can you hear me? Yes. Oh, Glenn, did you forget to get Joey his Cafe Bustelo? All right, so I think slowly but surely people will get back into the chat. So again, folks, sorry for that. We're going to keep it moving. The people who can find their way back will get back. A lot of people who can't get back will probably watch the recording of this. So we're going to still keep it going. As I was stating about the unemployment, I think that a lot of the unemployment that's kicking in right now could be the shutdown of the drilling pipeline. A lot of those people are claimed for unemployment. So we'll keep our eyes on that. And I'm going to go to my next story. All right. Retail sales, though, rose strongly on stimulus in January. Sales rose 5.3% after 3 consecutive months of decline. Retail sales, that means people are getting back out and buying things. That's good for an economy. I watched the jobless claims, though, as I just showed you in the previous story. That's going to be an issue. If people are looking for jobs or don't have jobs, they can't spend. But the people who are working are spending. Our sales rose. So that's good. And here's another big story. Walmart promises raises for 425,000 workers after a strong holiday sales. They're raising those hourly employees to $15 per hour. Retailers comparable to U.S. sales jump up 8.6% in the fourth quarter. Walmart happens to be the largest retailer out there, and they said that they're going to raise their rates. There it is. The country's largest private employer said it would raise pay for hourly U.S. workers to an average above $15 an hour, up from an average of $14 in January 2020. Its minimum starting wage for U.S. workers will still remain at $11 per hour. Walmart employees, about 1.5 million hourly workers and 2.2 million worldwide. That is good. That is good. All right, so we're looking at the largest retailer out there raising salaries for a lot of people. That's going to help to aid the economy in moving as well. The Walmart by my house is way understaffed. You know something? That's interesting, Paul, because there's a lot of signs out there for people looking for jobs. It's just up to the people for them to take the jobs or not. All right, but there's a lot of people looking, even though the unemployment number jumped up. So we're going to keep our eyes. But these are things that are going on in the background of the market that are affecting the market, whether bullish or bearish. So I'm going to move to the software. And from this software, we're going to go to my watch list of stocks today. We'll go to the Viewers tab. We're going to go to the Watch List Viewer, and I'm going to go to Trending Thursday. Today's date is Trending Thursday 2/18/2021. These are the stocks that we will be looking at today. And for those of you who are new, the stocks, we got 17 stocks that we'll talk about today. The stocks are automatically sorted in our watch list so that the stock that has the best combination of value, safety, and timing automatically comes to the top of the list. Let's go look at two things that we look at for the market. If you're not a subscriber to the VectorVest software, how can you time the market? You'll be looking at the spiders, the S&P 500, SPY. For those of you who are subscribers to the software, we look at the VVC. Now, the VectorVest composite, unlike the spiders, looks at over 8,500 stocks. The spiders looks at 500 stocks. We feel that it's a better representation of the broad market movement to track the VVC. Again, if you're not a subscriber, 99 cents gets you a trial to the VectorVest software for 30 days. I'm going to right-click. We're going to view the stock graph. Let's take a look at these two graphs. All right. Now, keeping our eyes on what's going on in the market, this is a 3-month graph of the S&P 500. I'm looking at 3 and 8 exponential moving averages. I'm also looking at a support, our indicator relative timing, which tells us if a stock is in an uptrend or not. Above the value of 1, the spiders are still in an uptrend. The 3 and the 8 are curling over, but still positive. Relative timing shows me that the S&P 500 is losing steam or momentum. During this time, what do? Again, the biggest thing you need to consider doing is tightening your stops. Not panicking because today is a down day, but today is a good day to start tightening your stops if you haven't already. All right, let's go down to the VVC. The VectorVest composite is showing the same kind of characteristics, but remember, this is tracking the movement of over 8,500 stocks. It's pulling over. Relative timing on it is falling. Not only is the market moving up or falling down, it's doing so on good volume. So even on the down days, a lot of people are getting out of stocks. Why? Because they're taking profits. Why are they taking profits? Because they're up tremendously on a lot of stocks. Folks, do not give back all of what you've made. That is the key takeaway from what's going on in the market right now. If I look at things like the level of the MTI, our market timing indicator, it is at a level and has been at a level where the market has been looking for a top. Couple of days ago, could that have possibly been the top? Could be, but I don't know for sure. I'm looking at the data that I see right now. The market is curving over. The market is losing steam or momentum by way of relative timing. All right, does anybody have any questions in regards to what's going on in the market before I get into my next story? All right, before I get to my next story, though, as well, I've got a couple of things I want to point out to you. All right, does anybody have any questions? I'm not seeing any questions coming up. That's fine. It is pretty straightforward on what's going on in the market. Now, what I do want to talk to you is we have two different things running on. Before I get to my next story, it's important that I let you know about two things that we've got going on right now. One of them, we're looking at a free portfolio challenge, a 28-day portfolio challenge, which is going to teach you how to manage the stocks that you currently have and what to do to make them better. All right, those kinds of things are going to be presented in this 28-day portfolio challenge. Teaching you how to weed the garden on the stocks that you own, the stocks that are hurting your portfolios, how to look for market timing and get into new positions at the right time. It is free from this website that Joey just put out there. You can join the challenge, and the best thing about this is that it's free. You're going to learn from our instructors on how to update and manage your current portfolio. The next story that we're doing right now is this one right here. For those of you who love basketball, especially March Madness, we've got a March Madness of stocks. All right, I just signed up for it. It's free as well. It's called stockmadness.com. We have stocks just like we have teams, like my team right here. The Duke Blue Devils. Joey's booing because he's a Carolina fan. We make a great team. All right, he's a Carolina fan. I'm a Duke fan. But the same kind of scenario of how you set stocks up in brackets, you collect or select the stock that you think is going to have a bigger week than the other stock that is going against. You select it all the way down to the end, just like you would for March Madness, and it's free. And also, it's free, folks. Put it out there. Click on it. Subscribe to it. Invite people to subscribe to it. They're both free. They're both free. All right, so I'll probably talk about the 28-day challenge again next week, but it's out there. If you really want to take your investing to the next level, it's there for you. I looked through the search ballistic new highs short, which is in the Derby searches and the views tab, and quick tested the top 10, pretty good results. So that's David. David actually works here. David, stop talking. All right, but I'm not ready to tell anybody to sell stocks short yet. Not yet. So I love David to death. All I'm saying is ease into it. Let the market give confirmation before you start shorting stocks. Are there prizes on the March Madness? You can win up to $250,000 for a perfect bracket. All right, Joey's clicking on prizes. Look at that. So we've got all the way down to 10th place, all the way across the board. Second prize, $750 VectorVest education credit. We give you a lot of education credit, so you can take a lot of those courses that you think are really expensive and apply them to a course. First prize, though, is $1,000 educational credit. The grand prize of $250,000 is if you have a perfect bracket all the way through. $250,000, folks. $250,000. All right, so there we go. All right, so I wanted to talk to you about those two things. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program. Let's get to our next story. Well, COVID-19. Still hot and heavy. India is set to become a vital COVID vaccine maker, perhaps second only to the U.S. How about that? India could become the world's second largest COVID vaccine maker, according to consulting from Deloitte. You remember how many times that company's changed? The first time I've ever heard them, they were Deloitte, Haskins, and Sells. And now all they are right now is just Deloitte. Analysts say the country has the capacity to produce for both its own population and other developing countries. So other countries are, producing the vaccine for their countries, but India is stepping up as a viable way to not only satisfy the demand for their country, but actually go out across developing countries. Even before COVID-19, the South Asian country produced up to 60% of the world's vaccines at a relatively low cost. That's big. All right, so that's my story on COVID-19. But all I really did was look at some of the stocks that we've been talking about as far as COVID-19. And I'm going to answer a question today. A lot of people have said, well, why is Moderna your stock of choice? It has been my stock of choice along the way for the whole journey of COVID-19. So let's go look at some COVID stocks. Moderna is on the top of the list by VST, the stock that's got the best combination of value, safety, and timing. They grow their earnings at a clip of 49% a year, earnings per share of $9.63. The stock is undervalued as well. That's got a lot of good going behind it. BNTX is hooked up with Pfizer. All right, and what other one? I've got one more, Johnson & Johnson. All right, so, besides analyzing it, Moderna's got good upside potential with relative value. It's got a safety above 1. It's moving. BioNTech, trading undervalued as well. Good upside potential, a little bit more risk where the relative safety is below 1. Johnson & Johnson, a great company, has been below its value, undervalued, good upside potential, good safety. The safety is even better than Moderna. Johnson & Johnson has been around a long long time. They only grow their earnings at a clip of 2% a year, but across the board, positive numbers. Pfizer, on the other hand, and a lot of people have been asking me, well, why is Pfizer going down so much? And it's the first one out. Well, the upside potential on Pfizer, not there. The safety on Pfizer, not there. The stock, by way of RT, is not going up. They have positive earnings, but negative earnings growth rate. In my opinion, I'm wondering if Pfizer is being very well run as a company. That's just my insight. If you've got negative earnings growth rate, where all of the other ones that I just showed you have positive earnings growth rate. Let's analyze the stocks on a graph. Let's view the stock graph. Now, I've done a little something. I'm going to change this graph layout down to from a swing trade. Now, I'm going to have a couple of different things on this graph. One, now I have a 20-day exponential moving average. A swing trade, stocks that I want to hold a little longer, a couple of days to a couple of weeks. I also have volume, but I've got some fundamental analysis behind it on a swing trade as well. Here's my earnings per share. Here's my earnings growth rate. Moderna, above the 20-day. If you own it right now, I would consider closing the position if it falls below the 20-day exponential moving average on an end-of-day basis. It is pulling back, but still above it, trading off of a most recent level of resistance of 187.62. Volume is just dying off right now, but this is huge. Earnings per share, the engine that makes the stock's price go higher than it was 3 months ago, and they're growing their earnings at a clip higher than it was 3 months ago. Now you'll see why I say Moderna has been my stock of choice. It was tough to own it here, but even look at this. The stock's price pulled back. Look at the earnings growth rate and the earnings per share, and then look at the stock pull back up again. Earnings definitely is the engine that drives the stock's price higher. And didn't Warren Buffett just give up on Pfizer? Terry, I didn't see any news on that, but that could hurt Pfizer as well. All right, let's go look at the other stocks. Here's BioNTech, which is also hooked up with Pfizer. Now, as I look at BioNTech, it fell. Currently, it's below the 20-day exponential moving average. Watch earnings per share as it's starting to fall, but the earnings growth rate is there. They still grow their earnings, but they're not making as much money as far as earnings, but it's still positive. If we go over to Pfizer, and this is where the rubber meets the road, Pfizer's just falling. I had a couple of levels of prior support, current resistance, and the stock is just moving sideways. Earnings per share is a tad bit higher than it was 3 months ago. Let's go put this on a 6-month graph. Let's go put this on a 1-year graph. Look at the earnings growth. The earnings growth, even during the time where the coronavirus whole deal was going on, man, look at the earnings growth, and there's erraticity on the earnings per share. So if I'm looking at these stocks, the analysis helps me to make a better decision on which ones of these stocks I would take advantage of. And the last stock in here, Johnson & Johnson, looks really good. Skirting with that level, I've had this line on here, this level of a trend line. It fell below, now back above, moving sideways above. Notice it popped below the 20-day exponential moving average for a couple of days, popped back up, still above it. Earnings per share higher than it was 3 months ago, and the earnings growth rate higher than it was 3 months ago as well. So if I'm looking at a stock in this space by way of COVID-19, I like Johnson & Johnson and I like Moderna, but if the market's direction starts to pull back, you need to think about taking some profits on these stocks. Is the swing trade layout available to everyone? King Monocore, I made this layout just based on the things that I want to look at. You can make your own layouts any point in time that you want. Just to explain again, I'm looking at levels of support and resistance. I'm looking at a 20-day exponential moving average. I've got a volume, and I've got a 20-period moving average of volume, a simple moving average. Then I've also put on earnings per share and the earnings growth rate. From a swing trade perspective, I think that those are the important things to look at if I'm trying to hold stocks longer. So I've given you that information. You can build that graph, save it as your swing trade graph if you want to do that. All right. India is the best, gives free vaccines to many countries already, says Nilesh. There you go. I bought Tesla today. It wasn't a good time to buy. It's the best stock. Who says it's the best stock? I don't see, no, stop trying, no. Just think about, I'm going to analyze Tesla. Don't tell me what stock is the best stock. I'm going to help you determine whether or not it is based upon other stocks that are in the same space. All right, just if you want to hold it for 10 years, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But I'm gonna help you. Let me help. You got to help me help you. All right, let me help you out. All right, so those are my stocks. Those are my stocks in the space of COVID-19. Bupin, I'll talk about that as well. All right, any questions? I'm only looking for questions right now on COVID stocks. VectorVest said it was. All right. Hang time. I know that you're still new. It didn't say. Tesla is the second best stock in this list. Does that make it overall the best? We're going to analyze it. It's not the best in this list. Actually, Moderna is by way of VST. I'm going to help you. But let me help you. All right. So if there's no other questions on the COVID stocks, I'm going to move on to the next story. 3, 2, 1. All right. So my next story happens to be on the memes stocks. How many of you are interested to know what's going on with the meme stocks? They're out there. 9 meme stocks that social media won't shut up about. And there's a lot of them that are in the list, but I wanted to bring that to the forefront. These are the stocks that have taken over what's going on in the market. And I thought that at some point in time, I would have to talk about them to my VV Nation to keep you on top of what to do or what not to do. A lot of people that are in here might be part of the millennial crowd, and I welcome you. A lot of you may have the diamond hands where you want to hold on to these stocks because they're down so much and the only way they can go is up. I understand that as well. So let's do this. Let's start off with GameStop. GameStop mania might be over, but retail investors look here to stay. And I look at a lot of news. There's a lot of people who may be down on GameStop and they're saying, no, I'm going to hold the stock. That's one thing. It's another thing for people to step back and say, listen, go buy more and dollar cost average down. The last thing you want to do is try to catch a falling knife. If you're in the stock at a low price or if you're in the stock at a high price and you got pushed down and you want to hold on to it, by all means do so. By all means do so. But I'm not going to tell, I still don't feel it's the right thing to do to say go buy more. We are way against, as a company, dollar cost averaging down. If you like the stock, let the stock come to you. Wait for another opportunity to buy more shares if you're going to do that. But first you have to overcome the downage in the shares that you're in now. Why not do that first? You're already in at a price. Let that happen first and wait for a buying opportunity before you put more money into the trade instead of putting good money after bad. All right. A new, younger, more social media savvy cohort has entered the fray from the GameStop mania, a phenomenon that affects brokerage companies and traditional investors. We believe that some of the new retail activity is here to stay, wrote an analytics team at Bank of America in a report to its clients. So do I think that a lot of people holding the stocks like GameStop or going over to AMC or Tilray and all of the stocks that are meme stocks, if you want to hold them, do so. I'm a big believer of if I get into a trade, I should already know when I'm going to get out of the trade. If it hits my stop, I get out of the trade. I use that money. It allows me to live to fight another day. I take that money and put it into another stock. All right? A lot of people got hit hard and quick on these stocks. And the GameStop hearing, Robinhood, Citadel, Reddit, all of that is going on in Congress right now in regards to the short squeeze that happened, a lot of people that took advantage of it, and bringing along the Reddit world with it as an army to go against the brokerages. Listen, I'm a big fan of the retail investor, but you poke a big bear, what is it going to do? If you go after somebody, they're going to protect themselves. Whether it was legal or not, they are going to protect themselves, and that's exactly what happened. And a lot of people are now holding the bag on something that should have just been, if you saw the short squeeze, people do it every day. But when you get a whole group of people to say, hey, follow me, let's go screw this company because they've been screwing us. Listen, I'm a big fan of making money in the market. But I'm not going to actively go after somebody who's got the power to come back after me. There's a lot of stocks in the market, folks. There's a lot of stocks in the market, and there's a lot of money to be made for everybody. All right, so I'm putting that out there like that. This article talks about the retail investors on Reddit's Wall Street Bets. They moved into cannabis stocks like Tilray, and we already know about GameStop and AMC. That's another stock that's been hit. Now, here's another stock that was part of that fray, Nokia. Interesting, I like Nokia. Nokia and Brazilian research group CPQD to develop 5G orange solutions. Nokia has 5G to fall back on. When I look at GameStop and I look at AMC and I look at Tilray, they don't have a secondary portion of business to fall back on. Nokia puts out a lot of handsets, but they are in the 5G space. Nokia, for the in that sense, I do like. Overall, it's collaborated with Brazil's telecommunications research and development team and an independent government-affiliated research body to jointly develop customized applications and solutions based on open ORAN. I've got to do a little bit more research on that. All right, so in all of these meme stocks, Nokia is a stock that I do like, and I'm going to take a look at that. Be careful with hang time. What did I say about this, about what was going on? There's one thing, and I try very hard not to push any of you to say, wow, that's a great stock, I'm going to go buy it. I didn't say that. Today is a down day. Be careful buying stocks on a down day. Having a plan. Your plan should always be able to help you to know when to buy, what to buy, when to sell. When to buy. Is today a good day to buy if this market is moving down? The answer to that is no. When to, what to buy? Moderna is a stock that I would consider buying, but on the right time. When to sell? Look at your stop criteria to help you to know when to get out of a stock. All right, and one last story on the meme stock. Somebody said, sell your Tilray. Now, Tilray did just beat earnings. Can anybody back me up on that? I think they did. Tilray just beat up earnings nicely. But we're going to take a look at that today as well. Someone says there's no reason to own Tilray, sell it today. I might be on a different side of the fence when it comes down to that, especially with the move that happened with Alfria. Now, I did get news from MarketWatch. Prior to this Trending Thursday. Tilray stock loses steam as analysts say the company not compelling as a standalone business look to the Alfria deal. All right, that's what could be pushing Tilray down. This story came out on February 11th about selling your Tilray. We see that Tilray is pulling back, but this story just came out today at 1:51 p.m. on MarketWatch about Tilray. So I'm just going to keep that in mind. All right, so let's go take a look at my meme stocks in my list. Here we go. What stocks did I have? Now remember, this is sorted by our master indicator. Let's see where all of my meme stocks hit. Nokia, GameStop, Tilray, AMC. How many stocks? That was 4. Look at where all of the meme stocks hit. Now, again, all of the diamond hands are saying, oh, yeah, we're going to hold it. Let me explain something. Why do you buy a stock? There's 2 reasons why you would buy a stock. 1, earnings. Earnings is the engine that drives a stock's price higher, right? Number 2, where else would I buy a stock? Innovation. Tesla is one of those stocks that's way overvalued, but the innovation is there and people are investing in the innovation. When I look at these stocks, with the exception of the Nokia, where's the innovation on GameStop? Tilray, the deal with Alfria, Where's the innovation on AMC? All right, so maybe the innovation's not there. Let's go look at the earnings. Nokia's got positive earnings. Nokia is the only stock in this list that's got positive earnings. GameStop, negative earnings. Positive earnings growth rate, but negative earnings. Tilray, negative earnings growth rate. Another thing that I like about Tilray is that it's in a hot industry that's being looked at from the perspective of decriminalizing marijuana. Marijuana stocks may rise. So from that perspective, I do like the weed stocks. AMC, big time negative earnings and negative earnings growth rate. So I ask the question of these meme stocks, where is the idea that you like them? So I've got that. That came from a movie. I just like the stock. What was that? The Big Short or something like that? I just like the stock. I am trying to help people make better decisions in the stocks that they buy and sell. What do we look at? We look at earnings. We look at earnings per share. We look at earnings growth. We look at innovation. We look at the fundamentals. None of these stocks are fundamentally sound by way of relative value, relative safety. None of these stocks are in an uptrend by way of relative timing. I'm not, so now let's go take a look at the graphs. All right, let's go do that. Let's view the stock graph. Nokia, over the last 3 months, let's go put this on to my trade one. GETJR trade. The 3 and the 8, man, I'm zoom in. The 3 and the 8 are negative. The stock is trying to find the base. Relative timing tells me the stock is not going in an uptrend. This is when Reddit hit. Stock had an opportunity, it made money, and then boom, fall down, go boom. Diamond hands fall down, go boom. Now, a lot of diamond hands are still in the stock, and they're saying, I'm holding the stock. All right. And the stock could have an opportunity to go back up to this high, which is sitting at $9.79. I like the deal with the Brazilian company with the 5G. That's all that I really like about it. So it does have potential. The stock is trading way under its value. You know what? I mean, way under its volume. That means a lot of people are losing interest in buying the stock. They're losing interest. It's trading nicely below the average volume. The interest is being lost. All right, let's go to the next stock, which is GME. Big run up on the stock. A stock hit a high of $483. Based on the fundamentals, there's nothing that substantiates that stock's ability to do that. It's not there. The 3 and the 8 fell. The stock is basing. Look at the disinterest in the stock by way of volume again. The stock is telling me it's way in a downtrend, relative timing below 1. Let's go to the next stock. Tilray, nicely jumped up, pulled back. 3 and the 8 just recently crossed. The stock is in a downtrend. Volume is starting to dry up there. And last but not least, AMC jumped up to a high of $20.36. It tried to hold on, found a nice little level of support at $6.26. And look at the 3 and the 8, below the most recent level of support. The volume is drying up there. RT is below 1. Now, I will see if I'm ready to think about adding more. I would wait until the stock gets back in an upward trend. I would wait until the volume picks up. I'd wait for the 3 and the 8 to cross. There's a lot of things that I would wait for before I jump on board with this. Paul says the CEO of Interactive Brokers was on CNBC yesterday. He admitted buying restrictions on GameStop kept the price from going up into the thousands. Rich and powerful sticking it to the small investors. Now, I am of the mindset if what they did was illegal and wrong, they get fined for it. But I think that the fines are going to be so much far less than what would have happened for people trying to cover the shorts. Now, why do people short a stock? Because it's not good stock. Now, the float was out there, was above 100% of the stocks that were out there. I think that was wrong. There's no ifs, ands, or buts that it was wrong. And the army of the Reddit people went after that. And you know something? The big money's got a lot of big money. They got a lot of big friends. They got a lot of power. And they stymied the stock. It is what it is. Instead of going after, a whole bunch of people going after the short squeeze, there's a lot of other stocks that are out there that could have made money. That's my opinion, right? And that really just does become my opinion. All right, and a lot of people are holding. I don't know. I did a video on AMC, and Patrick and I had a conversation. That video is going to come out too, where bulls against bears. I was upholding a case for the hedge funds. He was upholding a case for the retail investors. And it was a conversation about all of these meme stocks that should be coming out shortly. Payment systems need to be overhauled and replaced with faster transactions. Don't fight the Fed. Don't fight the market, says Mike. And a lot of people out there says, wait a minute, I want to fight the market. You ever heard the song, I fight authority, authority always wins? This might have been one of those cases right now where you fought authority and they won. So, but it's not over yet. It's not over yet. All right, so there's the graphs on the stocks. For those people who are the diamond hands that are holding on to the stock, by all means, you do you, boo-boo. All right? I said that, didn't I just say that? I said that. I'm going to say it again. You do you, boo-boo. All right? You do what you got to do. But when I look at a stock, I want to make sure that I know what I'm doing before I do it. And all of these stocks, prior to the run-up with the Reddit people, these stocks weren't altogether that great. All right? So I put that out there. I know what to look for before I buy a stock, and I want you guys to do the same thing. I want you to do the same thing. I fought the law and the law won. Yeah, that's another song. I fought the law. All right. Any questions? I see the comments. Any questions on my meme stock story? And I'm sure that after this is released, I'm probably going to get a whole bunch of hate comments, and I'm okay with that. I'm just giving you some insight as to what to look for, what to really look for when buying a stock. The short squeeze that was done on these and the buying against the short squeeze was a mathematical play, as Patrick France will say over and over again, and it was. I just don't want new people investing in the market get the idea that it's an easy button that you could just go do this all the time and make money. All right, that's all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say about that. All right, let's get to my next story. My next story is all about clean energy, starting with Tesla. The Gigafactory 6, Tesla is setting up a next plant in southern India. It is Karnataka for its first plant in India, according to the southern state's chief minister. I am not saying that last name. All right, but it's him. The confirmation comes a month after the company registered its subsidiary, Tesla India Motors and Energy Private Limited, in the state's capital of Bengaluru. Did I say that right? I think so. Bengaluru. All right. What are you talking? Blocking great. Get my money back. Thanks for the loss. Wow. It's amazing how I put my stories out. I try to help you through what to look for before you buy a stock, and then you want to get mad at me. It is all good. I spend a lot of time breaking down a trade, and I'm going to continue to do so. I'm definitely going to continue to do so. All right. India is going to become #1 manufacturing hub for auto in 5 years. Ooh, that's a very, very interesting statement right there. Glenn looked at Joey for acceptance. Did I look at you first? For that word, for that name. Joey's my guy, right, Joey? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's my guy right there. All right, so Glenn, your advice has been great, and I use it to learn. Excellent. All right, so that's my first story on clean energy stocks. What else is always going to come up? NIO driving quality and innovation in the Chinese EV market. But a story came out about NIO. I didn't see it. I think that it's pushing it down. I got to do some more. I'm probably going to do a new story, a new video on NIO by itself this week. Did I have that on my list, Joey, of stocks to do? Yeah, NIO is one of the stocks that I am going to do a story on as well. All right, hang time is just joking. Oh, yeah, man, you gotta understand. I take this serious. I love you guys to death. I want you guys to make money. I want you guys to make money. All right. Neo Limited's EV deliveries topped 47,000 plus in 2020. Deliveries in January remained strong with a monthly record of 7,000 vehicles on a monthly basis. NIO initiated delivery of the new EC6 vehicle in September 2020, bolstering a lineup that already includes the ES6, the ES8, the best-selling Chinese offering in their class. So NIO is the Tesla of China, because NIO is in China. Tesla, of course, is in the U.S., but Tesla is starting to sell into the Chinese market as well. I think that companies like NIO and XPeng and Li being in China have a heads up a little bit, or a leg up a little bit on Tesla, but Tesla is still the technology that everybody's going after. All right? How can I get one of your wonderful looking shirts you wear? Maybe we got to think about doing that. You guys like my shirt? This one says, and it's got the VV Nation. It's got hashtag VV Nation on the bottom. We got to look into probably doing that. They ain't going to be cheap because we got to get them embroidered. All right? It ain't going to be cheap. I'll talk to Joey. We'll talk to the powers to be to see if we can sell those. Is NIO a buy? We're going to take a look at it. All right. What else is in here? Fisker. That's another good stock in this space. Fisker soars after being named a top electric vehicle stock at Morgan Stanley. That will bolster a stock, won't it? Morgan Stanley initiates research cover on Fisker with an overweight rating at a price target of $27. The firm calls Fisker its EV sleeper pick. Aha! Not NIO, not XPeng, not Ebon, not Lee, but Fisker as its sleeper pick. All right, so we're going to take a look at that. And last one, CCIV. Michael Klein raises $1.7 billion for a new Churchill Capital SPAC as CCIV soars on a possible Lucid deal. So these stocks, these companies are primed to rise, right? Based on the news. Let's go take a look at the companies. Let's go take a look at them. What's at the top of the list? Tesla. What else is up here? CCIV. What else is up here? There's Fisker. There's NIO. Is that all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4. There they all are. Let's analyze them. Tesla, always way overvalued, trading at 786, value of 170. People are willing to pay a premium to own it because of the innovation. When we look at Churchill, CCIV, still relatively new, sitting at 63 with a value of 670, overvalued. Fisker, 18, price 1097, overvalued. NIO, 54, value of 646, overvalued. Which one of these only companies have good upside potential? And real quick, a meme stock. Let me answer that question. A meme stock is a millennial type thing right now. Stocks that are popular, that are popping up all over the internet in a whole different forms and fashions. It's talked a lot about like a meme. And that's what a meme stock is. All right, so that's to put that out there. And a meme stock, for the most part, goes up on hype more so than on fundamentals. Meme stocks tend to go up on hype more so than fundamentals. Notice that all of my meme stocks were at the bottom of the list by value, safety, and timing. All right, so as I look at these stocks, Tesla's the only one that's got good upside potential compared to all of them. Tesla's the only one that's got good safety compared to all of them. Tesla is not moving up the fastest. Actually, CCIV on that news about the Lucid deal is moving up faster. Tesla grows their earnings at a clip of 46% a year. The next best one is NIO, growing their earnings at a clip of 22% a year, and Fisker at 15%. CCIV right now, still relatively new as a SPAC. Not much in the way of earnings just yet. Let's go take a look. If I'm looking at any one of these stocks based on their stories, which ones do I like? Tesla's right at a level of support, sitting at 782.02. Look at where the stock's price is, still hovering right above it. The 3 and the 8 are negative, though, so I've got a negative turn on the stock, but hanging right above that level of support. All right, nice level of support. Relative timing is still above the value of 1, but falling. It's losing momentum as the stock's price is moving down. Volume's pretty steady, slightly below the average volume. So be careful if you own Tesla. I would think about taking some profits off the table. Now, on the other hand, the CCIV, again, as a SPAC, is still relatively new, but since it opened, the stock has been rocking and rolling. Straight up, almost parabolic. Be careful with that from that perspective. Above average volume as the stock moves. From a technical standpoint, I like it, but I'd be careful because of the short data and the big move up. All right, next one, Fisker. Like the stock, a lot of sideways move. Right now, the stock, the 3 and the 8, bounced off a level of support, rose up, pulled back right now, attacking a level of current support sitting at $17.64. A lot of buying pressure with the wick today. I'd like to see the stock stay above that level of $17.64. RT showing me that it's losing momentum, but still above the value of 1. And the last stock, NEO. Man, sitting in a channel within a channel. It's sitting within a channel, within a bigger channel, staying above, even that body, staying above that level of support of 54.29. The stock's RT is above 1, but losing momentum. The volume is falling. Be careful with all of these stocks. I still think that it's a hot industry. The clean energy EV industry is still a hot industry. Time to trades. Also keep in mind, if the market is moving down overall, and we looked at the market timing graph. If the market is moving down overall, what do you think is going to happen to the majority of the stocks within the market? They're also going to fall. Keep that in mind. Market's direction is so important when managing the stocks that you own. All right, let's go see if there's any questions on any of this blue. I haven't got anything to say about blue yet. We'll see if there's anything at the end if I go to look at that stock. Blue is way oversold. I wanted you to know your take on it. I'll take a look at it when we go look at individual stocks today. All right, no questions on the clean energy. All right, no questions on the clean energy. Are we going to look back at SPACs in a few years and say, what were they thinking? I don't know, Paul. I think SPACs might have some credence here. I did a video that talked about SPACs. And, you know, more companies are going that direction instead of trying to go through the process of IPOs. So, Paul, as of right now, I don't foresee that happening. There's a new company that's attempting to be the Amazon of South Africa. Anyone know the symbol? I do not know. All right, so far, just so that we are on the same page, for those people who are new to the channel, if you like the content that you see here and you're not a subscriber yet, hit the subscribe button. If your subscribe button is red, hit the subscribe button. For those people who did invite other people to come join our session today, we had a little glitch. It's all right, but I'm thankful for everybody who did find their way back. But don't forget to share this. Even after the video is done, you can always go back to the recorded video once Joey puts it up. You can still share that video with your circle. So don't forget to do that. And if you like the content today, please hit the like button. How many likes do we have, Joey? We got 52 likes, 54 likes. Hit the like button, especially if what we're talking about makes sense to you. All right, especially if what we're talking about makes sense to you and it's useful, hit the like button. All right, I've got one more story in another hot industry. All right, I got one more story in another hot industry, and this one is on Bitcoin. Ooh-wee. Bitcoin is doing the darn thing, isn't it? I got to speak in my southern accent right now. When I look at Bitcoin, I look back and say, I remember when Mr. McGillicuddy used to teach me about money. He didn't know nothing about Bitcoin. But now that Bitcoin thing is real fancy. Gonna do something about that right there. All right, so that was my southern accent. If I just offended anybody, get over yourself. It was fun. It was fun. It was funny. That's all I got to say about that. All right, so as I look at Bitcoin, this was a big story for me. Mayor's proposal to integrate Bitcoin into Miami's operations receives approval, they're thinking about paying people in Bitcoin that you can invest in your 401k using Bitcoin. This is big. The first city out there to do this, and I don't know if anybody out there, if any other cities are going to start jumping on board with it, but this is the first city. So Bitcoin is becoming a big player in the market, no matter what you think. I'm looking at MasterCard, I'm looking at Visa, I'm looking at Apple, I'm looking at Square, I'm looking at PayPal, I'm looking at JP Morgan Chase, I'm looking at Bank of New York. A lot of big players are getting into the Bitcoin space. Now, is Bitcoin going to pull back again? Absolutely. I still think that Bitcoin is more of a speculative play. But I think that the next pullback and any subsequent pullback is not going to be nearly as deep as they have been in the past because of, one, it's got a very high market cap right now, and two, there's a lot of institutional and corporate money backing it. You can't fight that. You can't fight it. Bitcoin is coming into the fray, and there's nothing that you're going to be able to do to stop it unless something really stupid happens to Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now is showing that they're coming to sit at the big boy table, folks. All right, they're coming to sit at the big boy table. So this was the big story that I saw on Bitcoin. So I went back to my regular stocks that I like on Bitcoin. I like Block as a way to trade the whole industry. I love that as a way to trade the whole industry. And then I also look at Riot and Mara. All right, those are my three main stocks in this space. Riot and Mara mine the Bitcoin, and Block is looking at all of the different stocks within the Bitcoin space. So it's an ETF that tracks the whole thing. All right, somebody's saying the stock that they're looking at is the new Amazon in South Africa is JIMA, not Jumia. It's not Jumia, is it? No, it is Jumia. It's JMIA. That's what I thought it was. It's JMIA. What about Toyota Motors on hydrogen and clean energy? Ron, I talked about hydrogen last week with Plug. So was it Plug or was it another stock? It was, which one was my hydrogen stock last week? It was Plug. It was Plug. So, make sure you look on a weekly basis, Ron. I try to cover a lot of different industries on a weekly basis. So you don't want to miss a Trending Thursday. As I look at the Bitcoin stocks, this is an ETF, so the value and price are going to be the same. Riot and Mara are definitely trading higher than their value. Both of these stocks are definitely overvalued. None of them, and this is why I still say that Bitcoin still is a speculative play. Notice that the relative value and relative safeties on both of them are clearly below 1. But what is moving them? RT shows them that they're both in an uptrend. Block is in an uptrend. Now, interesting, with Mara, positive earnings, and they grow their earnings at a clip of 30%. I like Mara from that perspective. Riot, negative earnings per share, but they do grow their earnings at a clip of 24%. I like Mara in that space. Actually, let's do it this way. Let's go view the stock graphs. Let's go look. There's Block. Folks, that is a thing of beautyosity. That is a thing about beautyosity. We just looked at Tilray, Kim. We talked about Tilray, one of my stories, as one of the meme stocks. We did look at Tilray already. All right, as I look at Block, today is a down day, but the 3 and the 8 have been solid for the last couple of weeks. Pulled back today, but the 3 and the 8 still solid. RT is above the value of 1 beautifully, pulling back a little bit, but still moving up fast. Stock has been trading above its value. Above its average volume. I like this as a play for the whole industry. I like Block as a play for the whole industry. Glenn, with having to get into exchanges, wallets, ETs, etc., Will it work for the average Joe? I think eventually, Greg, that Bitcoin will work for the average Joe. I don't know how long that's going to take. And, you know, Bitcoin as a whole is a lot of money. It's at that 50,000 mark, and not a lot of people are willing to pay $50,000 or more for one Bitcoin. All right? This is why I show you in the industry, in that space, what stocks you can take advantage of that are a lot more viable from a money perspective. I do like Block. If we go down, I like Riot. Bigger down day on Riot right now. RT is falling hard, still above the value of 1. A lot of volume on it. A lot of volume. There's a lot of liquidity on these stocks. Riot, bigger down day than Block. And Mara's got a smaller down day than Riot. A little less rambunctious as running up, but still over the last 3 months from the bottom left to the top right, RT falling. Notice that Riot has got a lot more shares being traded on it. There's a lot more interest behind Riot than is on Mara, but both exhibiting the same characteristics of moving up. The 3 in place. RT is falling, but still clearly above the value of 1. So those are my 3 crypto stocks, my main crypto stocks based on that Miami story. All right. Kim said, thank you, came in late. So be careful with Tilray is what it's all about. Is Beautyosity a Glenism? Absolutely, Mike. Absolutely. All right. Guess what, Joey? How about I'm done with my stories already at a good time. Joey's happy. Joey's happy. I covered a lot of stuff here. Does anybody have, and that was a good question right there in regards to, is this going to really help the little guy? I think that eventually it will. Anybody have any other questions on cryptocurrency at this time? Before we go and get into that. Is there a search for high volatility stocks? You know, you can always do that. High stocks that have moved up big time. If you go to searches, price, volume, for those of you who are VectorVest subscribers, Daily Boomers is probably a good search for that. I can find stocks that have rocketed big time today. Most likely, if it's up, you know, percentage price change up 122%, up 100%, 53%, and so on and so forth. These are definitely volatile stocks. Notice a lot of these relative safeties, all of the relative safeties are below 1. So that's a good JM to look for good stocks like that. All right, so.
Zero said, I thought you were Paul Pierce first.
Somebody said I was Paul Pierce. What? Somebody said, who said that? I thought you were Paul Pierce first. Really? I look nothing like Paul Pierce. Now, if I could have Paul Pierce's money and play for the Celtics, then that'd be a different story. I don't look anything about Paul Pierce. Glenn, do you like any stock this afternoon? Thanks for your feedback. And if I looked at all of my stocks before I get into what we're going to get ready to get into, go to the viewers. If I'm looking at all of my stocks, let's do this real quick. View the stock graph. And I'm going to put these all on a 3-month graph. What stocks do I like the most? I like Block. I like CCIV. Just be careful with the parabolic move on it. I do like Riot and Mara. I like Johnson & Johnson. I do like that move on Johnson & Johnson, even though it's moved sideways a little bit. The 3 is still positive. I like Mara. I said that. Let's aspire to this, the VVC. So those are the stocks based upon their graphs that I just looked at that I like the most. Does that help you out? Who just asked me about that? Toady. I like that. Toady. Do you like, so there you go. Based on all of the stocks that we looked at today, I've given you my opinion on the ones that I like the most. What do you think about DPST and the probability to get back to 400? So remember, I'm going to look at your individual stocks in a minute. I don't have the time to analyze on a specific basis on all of them. I will go through the graphs and look at them. All right, so that's the best answer I can give you on some of these stocks. And some of the crypto stocks that you're typing in the room, we don't track. All right, so, do I have it? Oh, man, I get to do it today. Hold on. Here we go, folks. Start typing in your stocks that you want me to analyze for you. A lot of it is going to be based off of the technical analysis. So I'm typing in some real quick. And then Joey's going to, son of a fungus. Glenn almost said a bad word, not me. EXROF. Joey's going to give me stocks to look at. JMIA. All right, Joey, go.
CHGG.
CHGG.
ON.
Oh, that's a good one. On conductor.
OM.
OM.
AM.
AM.
Did we do MOTS already?
Yep, I got MOTS. Yep.
Okay, Sundial.
SNDL. I did a great video on that. It's got a lot of views on YouTube.
ADBE.
Adobe.
IAC.
IAC.
MXL.
MXL.
STPK.
STPK.
CTRM.
CT. Oh, I just did a video on that. Castor Maritime is coming out today.
Baba.
Alibaba. Baba.
MJNA.
I just did a video on that. It's coming out today. You guys need to hit the bell icon to get alerted to all of these videos that are coming out, especially on individual stocks. REGI is a good stock. MRNA, we already looked at today, so I'm not going to do another analysis on it. EBON.
Let's do Lake.
Lakeland. Okay.
No.
One more. It's up to Joey. Jinko Solar. I did a story on that last week. All right, Blue. So everybody, a couple of people say, I really want to know what you think about Blue. This ain't my boy, Blue. I'm not feeling it. A couple of things have happened with Blue. And again, for those of you who may be new, what am I looking at? I'm looking at support and resistance. VectorVest will automatically draw it for me. I'm looking at the 3 and the 8. So now I'm going to take these stocks not from a trade perspective, but more so from a swing trade perspective. So I'm going to change. My moving average will be the 20-day exponential moving average. Now I'm still going to have support and resistance. I've got volume, but if I'm trying to swing, all right, I also want to look at the fundamentals like earnings and earnings growth rate. All right, so I've got my list, I got my graph now more set up for a swing trade. Now, for everybody who's putting stocks in here for me to look at, if I did not pick your stock, Joey's going to put a link in the room for you to go out to VectorVest and get a free stock analysis on your stocks. All right, you get up to, I believe, what is it, 3? Something like that? 3 is something like that. All right, so click that link for anyone who I didn't put a stock up here for. Now, interesting on Blue, the stock was sitting in a channel. It traded below the 20-day exponential moving average and fell through that level of support big time. Found a new level of support sitting at the low of 26.11. I don't know what made that happen. It's probably news-driven. It fell hard enough to get the stock a sell recommendation. The company makes money. There's a difference between making money and growing their money. The company makes money. They're not growing their earnings. I'd rather have you in a company that not only makes money, but can grow their money. That makes it more appetizing for people to buy. Big drop in the stock. It is at a level of support. If you own it, that's my line in the sand, or lit sitting at 26.11. If the stock falls below that because you didn't get out when it popped down, that's your line in the sand to say, I think it's time to get out. Now, it's not only is the stock going down, it's going down on big volume, but the volume is starting to decrease. So that could be a positive sign. I don't know yet. But something happened that tells me it was news-driven. It was news-driven. Can Glenn look at it? What do you want me to look at? No. Again, the stocks that we got out are the stocks that we're looking at. It's tough with all of the people that I have in here to do everybody's stock. If I did, I could probably sit in here for 2 or 3 hours just looking at stocks. So, Con, I know that you're a VectorVest subscriber, but I got the stocks that I'm going to look at today. All right? That's just me. MOTS moving. Even on a down day today, open candle, a little bit of selling pressure right here on the candle, but it gapped up today, still open candle on big volume, wondering if that was news as well. Trading above the 20-day exponential moving average. Earnings is up, earnings per share, earnings growth rate is up. I like MOTS. I don't know what made it move up today. The stock closed yesterday at $1.78, went up as high as 2.4, went up as 2.74. I'm thinking I got some profit taking with the big wick, but I got enough open candle that people jumped on board. So without knowing the news behind it, I do like it on an end of day basis. If I'm not in it though, I would go 5 cents higher than the high to make sure I'm buying into a rising stock. But I like the rising earnings and the rising earnings growth. Now, XROF, I like this stock. I personally, as it open, what's the word I'm looking for? Open transparency. For transparency, I currently own XROF. I want people to know out there to know that as I talk about it. The stock is clearly above the 20-day exponential moving average, doing a little bit of a sideways move right now, down for 2 days in a row. The volume is pretty steady. Now, what I don't like is over the last 3 months, the earnings per share has fallen a little bit. The earnings growth rate, they're not growing their earnings. I'm looking at owning why I own XROF is because of the innovation behind it. And this is an industry disruptor in that they're trying to perfect an electric motor. And they're doing a really good job of making it better. That's the reason why I own XROF. If I look at the relative value, though, below 1, relative safety below 1, the stock is not fundamentally sound. Earnings is falling over the last 3 months. Earnings growth rate, they're not growing their earnings. So this is an innovative stock. That's the reason why I own it, not for the fundamentals. So I put that out there in for that reason. We already looked at Block cold dip. We already looked at that from the crypto story, so I'm not going to put Block back up. We already looked at the graph. All right, so XROF right now, from a swing trade perspective, is still above the 20-day exponential moving average as the stock is moving sideways for the last 3 days. All right, at a level of resistance. If I'm not in it, though, I'd look to get in 5 cents higher than the high. If I'm already in it, I'd leave it alone. All right, if I'm already in it, I would leave it alone. What level of support for XROF? My first level of support is sitting at $3.93. VectorVest drew that for me. How about that? VectorVest already drew it for me. That is my first level of support along with the 20-day exponential moving average. Whoo, Jumia. Good, googly muggly. I love the upward move on it. I'm going to draw a line connecting the lows. Look at that. I like that. I do like this stock. So I'm going to give you a couple of different levels to manage the stock. How many of you own this stock? Just type a me in the room. I'm very interested to know. How many of you own the stock? All right, as I look at that, I like the 20-day exponential moving average, but as I connect the lows, I like this trend line more as a solid level, more of a solid level to hold on to this stock. I like this. All right. So even though the stock went below the 20-day exponential moving average, just drawing that trend line kept me in. It bounced off that trend line. Right now, that is my level of support. All right. The stock is currently gone below the 20-day exponential moving average. If you've made some money in the stock, I would say this could be a good time to take half off the table. All right. If the stock falls below this level of the trend line, this is probably a good opportunity to get out of the stock. You don't want to give it all back. Hopefully that makes sense. The volume is starting to pick up on the downside. It means more people are starting to short it. Our earnings per share is higher than it was 3 months ago. This is a 3-month graph. And earnings growth rate is higher than it was 3 months ago. I think that this drawn level of support connecting the lows is a good way to manage the stock without spooking you out of the stock. All right. And I like the idea, Michael, selling covered calls on it. I wouldn't have started selling covered calls until the stock started to pull back. This is when I'd start selling the covered calls. But I like the stock on a 3-month basis, just historically, looking at that trend line, nice 45-degree angle. But this might be a good opportunity to take half off the table. If it bounces back off that level of support and goes back up, that'd be a good opportunity to buy more. All right, let's go to the next stock, which is Chegg, Business Service Schools. Same kind of scenario, freehand line, connect the lows. I like this. And let's go make that a little darker so that you can see it. Again, I like another 45-degree angle. Using the 20-day as a way to get out. Look at that. The stock found a level of support sitting at about $90.25. It skirted with it, bounced off here, broke through here. Man, There's a lot going on. I like it. Currently today, yesterday it fell below that level of support of 104.41, rebounded today, and even on the pullback, breaking below that level of support, stayed above the 20-day exponential moving average and the trend line. Right now, if you're in this stock, I'd leave it alone. I would leave it alone. If I'm not in this stock and I like it, I would wait and go 12 cents higher than the high. Big volume today. Earnings per share higher than it was 3 months ago, but they're not growing their earnings. I'd keep that in mind. Price action, though, is what dictates. I like that staying above the 20-day exponential moving average. I like that trend line is a backup to that. And then thirdly, I've got another level of support sitting at $90.25. It all depends on how much you're willing to take hurt on this. There's 3 different ways. The 20-day, this line that I drew of support, and this current level of support sitting at 90.25. All right? Let's go to the next stock. I like this stock in the semiconductor space. Growing their earnings over the last 3 months, growing their earnings per share. I like it from a fundamental standpoint above the 20-day exponential moving average. Pulling back to it now, I've got a beautiful level of support sitting at 39.37, and look at what happened today. The stock's price bounced right off that level of support. I love the equity curve. I'd like to see it take out the high. If I'm not currently in it, I would go 12 cents higher than the high. If I'm currently in it, this is a beautiful level of support. If it breaks down below and you've got money made in it, you might want to think about taking half off the table. All right? You might want to think about taking half off the table. All right? But I love the earnings and the earnings growth rate. There's a lot of good things, and the equity curve looks beautiful. All right, let's go to AM. A little bit of a sideways move. I don't know what made the stock drop this hard. It did. It dropped from a buy to a hold, big time, below the 20-day. If I own it, I'm thinking, I don't know. If you own, I don't know. The stock is sitting in a channel. You got to make a decision. If you still want to say, well, I'm going to hold it for whatever the reasons, I got a level of support sitting at 787. Definitely, if the stock's price breaks below that point, you probably want to get rid of it because it's outside of that channel. Big volume, something tells me it was news that moved the stock like this. Big volume to the downside. Watch the earnings per share as it's starting to fall off. Earnings growth rate, though, they're still growing their earnings, but whatever they're doing, they're not bringing in. Something tells me if the earnings per share is falling as earnings growth is going up, something tells me that sales is not that good. Let's go do that. I never do that, but I'm going to go to sales. Let's go sales. Let's go see if sales is rising. Sales is flat. That's interesting. When I see when I think it's interesting when I see earnings growth going up, but earnings per share, well, they're not making money if they're not selling anything. Normally what will happen is if I watch earnings per share falling, normally sales will fall as well. All right, so right now, if you own it, though, there's your level of support sitting at $7.87. The next stock, Sundial. I did a recent story on this, on Sundial. It was rocking and rolling. Right now, I had a couple. I don't know what that's from. Let me close that out. That was a gap. The stock, here was a previous gap. It fell below that gap. If you own Sundial, I would think about taking some off the table, baby. Oh, yeah. I'd take some of that off the table right there. I did not have sexual things with that woman, and I didn't inhale. Anyway, and that was perfect for this stock. This is marijuana stock. I didn't inhale. And I would say be careful with this. The stock is going down. Earnings per share is going down. Earnings growth rate is rising. Just be careful with that. I would seriously consider getting out of the stock. Wait for a better buying opportunity if it falls below the 20-day exponential moving average. That's my opinion. All right? And if you do that, it'll put itself in a little bit of a channel where it can move sideways back and forth. But the volume is going down. Thank you, Glenn. Check breakdown analysis. Maybe my analysis is paying off thanks to Vector VVC Nation. There you go. That didn't sound like Forrest Gump. That sounded like Bill Clinton. That's what it sounded like. Can you please do... Nope, I'm not going to add any new stocks. The stocks that I have, I still got a lot of stocks to get through, Tony. I still got a lot of stocks to get through. Oof. That's all over the place. Adobe is Loch Nessy. That's a Glenism. Looks like the Loch Ness Monster, up and down and up and down. Be careful with this. This stock is all over the place. You got to have testicular fortitude to play this. All right, you really do, because it as quickly as it can go up, as quickly as it go down. This is more of a trade. Straight up, this is more of a trade. I'd put that out there. Earnings per share is growing. I like that. Little jig-jaggiosity going on with earnings growth rate, but it's still higher than it was 3 months ago. I'd rather have you, unless you're a trader and you're going to play these levels retracing from resistance or bouncing off support, you can do that. But this is all over the map. Oh, wow. Or ovarian fortitude. Wow. Okay, that's all I got. Wow, that got me at a loss for words. That doesn't happen very much. Can I do a Christopher Walken imitation? No, I can't. I gotta have something in my mind that tells me I know who he is, but I don't know if I could do a Christopher Walken one. Woo! Who gave me this? Man, I need that smash button right now, because see that right there? That's a beauty of a graph. Now, it looks good on the graph, right? Watch the earnings per share. Watch the earnings growth rate. But from a stock price movement, I love that stock. Over the last 3 months, it stayed above the 20-year exponential moving average. The fundamentals may not be there. Relative value may not be there. This stock is pretty much a safe stock, though. It's not a very risky stock. Earnings growth rate is negative 10%. Man, I would play that right off the graph. Who gave me this? Who gave me this stock? Because I like that stock. I would play that 12 cents higher than the high. I like that graph a lot. But be careful from a fundamental standpoint. All right, that's what I got to say about that. Looks beautiful, but just be careful on the fundamental standpoint. All right. MXL, another one of those stocks that's all over the place, like Adobe. Towards the first part of the 3-month look-back period, it did go up, sat in the channel. Man, look at that big bounce off a level of support at 30.44. Right now, it's having a hard time getting above that level of resistance of 38.65. It's got an interim level of support sitting at 34.98. If you own it, well, it is above the 20-day exponential moving average, retracing from resistance, but still above the 20-day exponential moving average. Volume is earnings per share is higher than it was 3 months ago, but pulling back, the earnings growth rate looks good, though. They haven't really grown it. It's been flat, but still higher than it was 3 months ago. All right, higher than it was 3 months ago. Hello, Ball. All right, if you own it, though, I would look to see a couple of things will happen. The stock will break below that level of 34.98 and go below the 20 exponential moving average. Is probably a good time to think about getting out of that stock. All right, let's go to the next stock. STPK SPAC. This is another SPAC. Clearly, for the most part, above the 20 exponential moving average. I don't have enough information to give you earnings growth on it. If I'm strictly playing it by price, it's above the 20-day exponential moving average. I would use that as a way to get out of it and capture profits, plain and simple. All right, if I'm not in it right now, I'd have to go 12 cents higher than the high. If I am in it right now, don't panic. Let that 20-day exponential moving average help you out, all right? That's another one of those SPACs, like the CCIV trade. CTRM, oh, yeah, I did a story on that. So I have this marked up. It was a story which pulled it down, which could have been a possible short squeeze move on the stock. I have a line in the sand. It is above the 20 exponential moving average. But I don't like the earnings growth. I like the earnings per share. Let's go take a look at sales again. Earnings growth rate with sales. Sales is flat. Earnings growth, they're not growing. So they're making money. All right, so this is a shipping company. I did a story. It's coming out on YouTube where I get deep down inside of it. I like that it's making money, but they're not growing it. And a lot of it has to do with a lot of the shares that they're re-offering out. This company went through the process of getting 700 million shares to give out to buy, so people to raise money, and 466 million went out in stock. Go see the story. Go see the story. All right, it gets deep, and this graph was marked up because of that. But it does have a line in the sand sitting at 76 cents. It is clearly above the 20-day exponential moving average. It did move up today. Look at the big wick. Look at the big wick at the top, a little bit of selling pressure, but it is higher than yesterday's close. That was my get-in price for it. It is higher. I'd leave it alone. All right, let's go. Alibaba, again, another stock that's everywhere. It's like savoir faire. It's everywhere. How many of you are old enough to remember that cartoon? It's like savoir faire. It's everywhere. Type of me in the room. I want to see how many people are old like me. As I drink out of my Duke's Blue Devil cup. All right, so Alibaba is the Amazon of China, right? And Jumia is the Amazon of South Africa. Amazon is the only Amazon, all right? Alibaba is moving sideways. A couple of people do remember the savoir faire is everywhere. Alibaba is moving sideways in a channel, but at the upper end of the channel, right at that 20-day exponential moving average. If you want to hold the stock below the 20-day exponential moving average, my line in the sand would be this level of support sitting at 252.38. That would be my line in the sand. That would be the line in the sand. Tony says, I resemble that remark. Listen, I'm old. I'm all right with that. Watch the earnings per share on it. Watch the earnings growth on it. For it to be the supposed Amazon in China, just be careful with the fundamentals. The earnings behind it ain't really there right now. And the stock is moving sideways. What else? MJNA, I did a story on this. You got to watch the story to understand all of these markings. You got to watch the story. It's on YouTube. It's Hexo versus MJNA. All right, so I'm not going to explain that. The earnings growth rate does look, that's over the last month. That's over the last 3 months. I love this low dollar stock. It's still a speculative play, but this is a dollar stock that's got a lot of characteristics that most dollar stocks don't have. One, it's undervalued as a dollar stock, so it's a good value play. Relative value is above 1, so it's a good growth play in the marijuana space. This stock can make you a lot of money. You just got to time the trade. I like this as a penny marijuana stock. Watch the video and you'll see why. All right, watch the video and you'll see why. All right, so let's go to the next one. Renewable energy, one of the better stocks in the clean energy space outside of EV, clean energy EV. This is one of the better stocks, but you know something? Even the best stocks have a time when you have to let go. The stock's price is now closing below the 20-day exponential moving average. I think this is a good time to take your profits off the table and wait for a better buying opportunity. I do like it fundamentally. Earnings per share is rising. Earnings growth rate higher than it was 3 months ago. Not only is the stock's price falling, look at the negative volume. It's picking up. There's a lot of volume shorting the stock or getting out of the stock. REGI, one of the best stocks in renewable energy, might be the right time now to take your profit off the table. All right, that's my opinion there. EBON, also, EBANG was, this one says computer peripheral, not the stock that I thought. A lot of selling pressure on this. Look at the big wick at the top of the candle. What did the stock's price close yesterday at 10.48? It went up today as high as 13.70. That looks like some profit taking. Yep. Look at the volume, though. A lot of people are buying into it. I don't know much about this. I don't know much about history. Don't know much about biology. As I look at EBON sitting here, it's sort of kind of, to my eyes, bring a tear. I'm not feeling this. I like the volume. A lot of selling pressure. That's a shooting star pattern. That's a possible reversal. It's closing below a level of prior support, which is a current level of resistance at 1144. Look at the body. The body is now serving below that level, which creates a level of resistance. Man, I don't know much about stocks, about this stock. Added Senseonics today. Senseonics is another story that I did. You guys are bringing up stocks that I'm talking about, individual stories, individual videos on this YouTube channel. Folks, you got to hit the bell icon so you'll be alerted to all of the new content that's coming out, especially on some of these stocks that you want me to look at. All right, so boom, boom, boom. Let me go back to boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say hey-oh. Boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say hey-oh.
Hey-oh.
All right, Lakeland. Interesting. Lakeland, I like Lakeland. I have liked Lakeland. How about when the stock's price pulled below the 20-day exponential moving average, that level of support was sitting there going, not in my house, Dikembe Mutombo at 25.89. And look at that bounce off before it went back up. Look at that 20-day exponential moving average. You probably had a great opportunity to make some money on it. If the stock's price falls below it, you probably want to think about taking some of your profit off the table. All right. Earnings per share looks good. Earnings growth rate looks good. I like the both of them. I do like the both of them. But again, just like with any other stock, it may be good until it ain't no more. Till it ain't no more. What is it? Papa used to say, I stands all I could stands. I can't stands no more. And sometimes, good stock, you got to wait for it. Take your profit. Don't be afraid to do that, folks. Take your profit. Wait for another buying opportunity, especially if you like it. Where can I buy XRP? You should be able to check your broker. I keep hearing a lot of bad stuff about XRP. That was a pump and dump. That's all I can say about it. I don't know. I might have to do a story on that one, too. Let me write that down. XRP. I might have to do a story on that. I'm telling you guys, if you don't hit the bell icon, you're going to miss out on all of these stories that I'm doing. You're going to miss out on all of these stories that I'm doing. All right, I'll be adding Senseonics every week. I think Senseonics is a good play, especially if somebody like me, who's a diabetic, that's censored, implantable and sensor. I like it. So it did hold near and dear to my heart as well.
Would you get it?
I own it. I got it.
Get the chip.
Oh, would I get the thing? Yeah. I would, but I would want to wait for the yearly one because you still have to prick your fingers twice a week on the yearly one for calibration. But on the current one that they have, which is 90 days, they're trying to go out for 180 days. The 180-day implant is already good in Europe, but the 90-day implant, you still have to prick your fingers twice a day for calibration. All right, I hate having to prick my fingers, so I like Senseonics. I gave you the story that I like, why I like it, and just to still be transparent, that is a stock that I own as well. All right, that is a stock that I own as well, and I'm with you on that, Randall. It could. Now, question: when a stock dips below the 20-day average, you say it's time to take profits off. I'm new to this. When a stock is also below the 20-day moving average, would that not also be an entry point? No. So when I'm looking at it, when a stock is below the 20-day exponential moving average, where's my entry? When it pops above. Oh man, and look at that. Was that a good entry? Bouncing off support, 20-day, boom. Look at that. Now, on the way to come out, this is where I look at the VectorVest software. I got a level of support sitting here at 76.15. Would that have been a good opportunity from this entry point going above the 20-day exponential moving average to getting out when it went below that level of support? Would I take some profit? Absolutely. This is why I spend a lot of time walking you through how to use your graphs in the VectorVest software or whatever software you use to help you to make decisions. Now, Jinko Solar's in the clean energy, currently right at a level of support of 57.68. It's already cleared below the level of the 20-day exponential moving average. If you haven't gotten out of it yet, if it breaks below this level of 57.68, you probably want to take at least some off the table, if not all of it. Now, what else do I see? Earnings per share is growing higher than over the last 3 months, but the earnings are, they may be making money, they're not growing it. They may be making money, but they're not growing it. Thus is showing why the stock is probably moving sideways. All right. So here we go. Man, can I do this from a phone app? We do have a phone app. I wish, we need to look at that lonely girl thing. so that I can put that lonely screen. All right, so I might do that. Patrick does support for the mobile app every Thursday on Facebook at 11. So if you're interested in doing it on a phone, Tony, check Patrick out on our Facebook live every Thursday at 11 a.m. All right. And just real quick to reiterate these two things that we got going on. We have the 28-day portfolio challenge. It's free. Helps you walk you through how to grow your portfolio to fix the things that are jacked up. All right. And that's probably the easiest way of saying it. All of the stuff that's jacked up in your portfolio, 28 days, we're going to help you fix that. And the last thing for all you sports people, I love this, is the March Madness for stocks. And yeah, I'm scroll down, do that. Go ahead, copy that. Copy. I don't know. How did you do that? You did that. I did. Go ahead. I'm going to go through this real quick. I love this idea. Just like we have March Madness for basketball teams like the Duke Blue Devils. I don't even think they make the competition this year. All right.
My team.
Huh?
Same with my team.
You'll probably make it. But now look at this. Tesla against NIO. So on the week from 3.8 to 3.12, which stock do you think is going to go up the most? Let's say, well, I think NIO. So I would go to here where it says select. I take NIO. All right. Now, all NIO has to do is outpace Tesla over the next week. Boom, it stays. If Tesla outpaces NIO over the next week, Tesla, you lose that box. All right. So I love this idea. I think the matchings of the stocks are beautiful. Take advantage. It's free, folks. Share it with other people. Everybody's got a chance. If you can get a perfect bracket to win $250,000. But as we go here, we do have prizes. They are educational credits so that if you are a subscriber, you can use those towards VectorVest stuff. All right, we can use it towards VectorVest stuff. Today was an interesting day at the start, but you guys stuck with it strong. I think we did well. Witty says, Glenn, I have a suggestion. Can you guys put out something about exponential growth, or is that out of your VectorVest research? I don't have an indicator for that, so I'm going to say that it's outside of my research. Can I explain it as a topic? Probably, but I don't want to get outside of utilizing the VectorVest software. All right, so. All right, thank you guys for being here. How many likes do we have today?
133.
How much?
133.
Let's see if we can get to 150 before we leave. Let's see if we get here before. The link for the stock portfolio challenge is already in there, Ron. Joey put it in there for you. He's going to do it again. All right, he already put it in there for you. There it is. For the that's the stock. Oh, the 28-day one he's looking for. Let me get that up. For the 28-day one, I'll get that for you right there. Copy, paste. There's the link for the 28-day portfolio. All right, of course. And it's free. It is so free that it's free. It's that free. All right, it's free. It's free. Both of those things that we're talked about today are definitely free. Share it with people. We got 155. Way to go, Con. Thank you for the likes. Subscribe to the channel. You know what else I'm noticing? When I do the stats behind our videos, I've got more people who are non-subscribers looking at the content. If you're a non-subscriber, you like the content, subscribe. I got more non-subscribers looking at the content than subscribers. That shouldn't be. I should always have more subscribers than non-subscribers. All right? So if you're new, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget, smash the bell icon. I'm putting out a lot of video content. You want to be up on that, get alerts, hit the bell icon. All right. So with that, folks, you guys are awesome today. Thank you, VV Nation, for supporting the channel today. I think we actually covered a lot of territory. We looked at a lot of your stocks. And don't forget, you can get a free stock analysis on any stock you want from VectorVest. All right? So with that, you guys are awesome. Have a great day. Adios. Arrivederci. Ciao. Au revoir. Sayonara. Aloha to all my people from Hawaii here today. Big shout out to you guys following me on Facebook. And I hope you guys are learning something as well. that group is growing up nicely. So I'm watching that. I like that. Salam, shalom, namaste. Have a great day, folks. Peace. We're out of here.